Hi, everyone. I'm John Granato. You can hear me mornings, weekdays on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. And that's Josh Jordan. He's an editor of SportsMap.com. And he's also co-host of Moneyline that you can hear weekends on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Josh, Alex Bregman, last night Dusty said his return is imminent, but he's not hitting at Sugarland. He hasn't hit at all, and he has had setbacks. And Diaz is playing well. You think they need to rush him back?
No, I don't. I would not tinker with Bregman. Like you said, when he did play with the Skeeters, he wasn't hitting that great to begin with, and now he's just running. I mean, we're coming up at the end of August here, and for me, it's all about the playoffs, making a run here. I want Bregman ready to go come playoff time. If I was in charge of this, it may not be popular. I know they're scuffling right now. They could use his bat, but I'd hold him out till like mid-September. I mean, if he has another setback, he could be done for the year. So I'd hold him out till mid-September, give him like 2 weeks of games to kind of get used to hitting again, and then start the playoffs. That's what I would do.
Use his bat. That's interesting because he's a notoriously slow starter.
Yeah.
And this is almost like the start of a new season. He's been out so long now. And so I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure he gives you anything more. And actually, you may be getting a lot less with the production that Diaz has given him. Where does Diaz go now? Because I don't think you can take him out of the lineup.
I think that Diaz is a guy that you'll start him every now and then. When they do bring Bregman back, I don't want to see him out there every single day in a row. I want to give him a few days on, a few days off. You mix Diaz in. Yuli's been scuffling. I think you could use Diaz over at first base just to give him some rest. He's an older player, get him ready for the playoffs. But the difference for Bregman with me is you've seen it, man. He can change a series. He's an MVP caliber player when he's right. So I think you just kind of baby him a little bit, get him ready for the important games, and, use Diaz when you see, a good time to spell him and spell some of the older players.
This is interesting now. I don't know that Alex Bregman is injury prone, but this is the problem that we've had with Carlos Correa. I don't know that I don't know, James Click, if you're him, do you reconsider? I just saw Michael Schwab just tweeted out the Astros are at $209 million right now in payroll, right around there. And they're going to lose $91 million this offseason. So you got enough to pay Carlos Correa. I don't know if you want to give him $30 million a year, but you do have enough money to pay Carlos Correa. And with these problems with Bregman, I think maybe this does make the entire organization look at this Carlos Correa situation a little bit differently.
Yeah, I think you could see it both ways, right? You could see it, James Click, like, hey, I need to keep Correa because maybe Bregman's going to be injury prone going forward, and I want to have at least one of those guys most likely healthy for most of the season. Or you could see it the other way. Like, I already tied up all this money in Bregman, and now he looks a little bit injury prone, and Correa's been that way in the past, and then maybe you see that as a negative to where I don't want to tie up money in two guys and, big contracts that are injury prone. But I will say this, we're talking about Carlos, he's not killing it right now. Maybe we could get a cheaper price for him. But I warn people, this dude lights it up in the playoffs. If he does that again this year, that's what GMs are going to remember, is him lighting it up in the playoffs. That's what they're going to remember.
Well, and not only that, you're finding out right now, middle of the season, that you don't have an ace. No. You just don't. And if you lose Greinke, who can only give you 4 or 5 innings every outing because apparently he's so old, he can't pitch more than that. So you lose that. Who's your ace going to be? That $91 million that you're going to be saving, maybe it's going to be better spent on a couple of top of the rotation guys, and you get more dominant. When were the Astros they became most dominant? When they had Verlander and they had Cole, and that now teams are going to fear you. Right now, this rotation, I don't know that they fear anybody.
No, you're right. And in a playoff series, it'd be nice to have that hammer at the top of the rotation. They don't have that right now. And Fromber's, kind of been a different dude over the last, I guess months, really ever since kind of the sticky stuff. They started checking for that. Like, Fromber's ERA has been closer to 4. And before they started checking for that, it was in the 1s. So I'm starting to wonder, too, if with this pitching staff, is some of the magic, from Strom, is it not the same now that MLB's cracking down?
His magic juice.
Yes.
That's what the magic might have been. That magic juice that Strami brought to the club. Yeah, absolutely. So this Bregman thing, we'll find out in a hurry whether or not Alex Bregman, if he's another hole in the order, it's not going to make it any better.